veterans in America. As you can see by looking around you, they live among us everywhere, and they share a profound bond that only they can fully understand. Theirs are stories that need to be told and remembered and honored as we are doing today. We must always remember that this nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is the home of the brave. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Massey, and now Chairman of the Ben Hill County Commission, Mr. Philip J.
One of the privileges of being chairman of the county commission comes around at events such as this, being with such distinguished people. However, I'm going to talk about what's been said here is recorded in history, and what I'll talk about probably isn't as recorded in history and probably won't be. But there are experiences in terms of understanding the veterans that bind veterans together, not just the sacrifice of time, combat, bad food, travel to places not necessarily of one's choosing. Is that so? I mean, for many of us, these thoughts, these experiences, these worries occurred at the very beginning of our services, and for some, like myself, often thereafter. For me, it began when my buddy, Jimmy Alexander, is Jimmy here? If he's not here, I sure would appreciate if y'all would tell him what I have to say today. Because it all began with him. You see, he dropped me off at the induction center in the old Sears building in Atlanta. As blood brothers, however, we had agreed that we were going to join the Marine Corps together. At the last minute, Jimmy told me he'd joined the National Guard. And his reasoning was that somebody needed to take care of my car. And more importantly, there was a race at Daytona the next day that he needed to go to. Now, the image of Jimmy driving off in my 1965 fire engine orange Mustang is forever etched in my mind. It was here the experience I'm talking about that binds all of us began to incubate. Now, for the record, the Army finally caught up with Jimmy. He tried that race car trick one time too often, and they sent him a personal invitation, and he served honorably. Well, he served. Now, the next day for me, I arrived at Paris Island, where a man with a funny hat and a bad attitude was screaming at me to get off of the bus, to line up on the yellow footprints. His, or more accurately there were a number of them. Several happened to be black, by the way, and they knew that I was from Fitzgerald, Georgia, the deep south. Now, their language was crude and rude and not acceptable in civil company, so I cannot repeat it here. But I could feel the spittle on my face while he assaulted my character, questioned my intelligence, my social standing, and my heritage, all while assuring me that I was the lowest form of life on earth. Is there an amen to that? Now, as a white man, born to, some would say to privilege, certainly Benny Calloway, my fellow commissioner, seems to point this out, and I do have in my hand here the silver spoon that I was born with. I don't recall it being in my mouth or wherever, but I do still have it, so I really cannot deny the privilege point. But I started to ask the fellow with the funny hat if he, Papa's here, right? Papa, I started to say, Sergeant, do you know that my daddy is Clayton J. Jr.? You see, Jimmy and I, we would go places we didn't need to be from time to time, and we'd get into trouble. And I remember on several occasions, him saying to somebody that was about to assault us, he said, "You do know his dad is Clayton J. Jr." And that seemed to make a difference. But as far as my experience at Paris Island, I decided it probably wasn't the right time to bring that up. You see, I was not as stupid as the sergeant kind of seemed to feel that I was. Now, instead of the silent questions, now fully incubated, which exemplified these moments, they're representative of the experience of which I've alluded, those thoughts. What was I thinking when I thought this was a good idea? What the am I doing here? And what's wrong with this picture? Now, it was those dress blues that you gentlemen and ladies are in that got me. And then when I got to Paris Island, they told me, "Sure, you can have the breast blues." They had the top part fiberglassed. It's like, you know, where you step in front of something and you hold it at the bottom. That was my dress blues. They put a hat like these on me and then sent my picture to the paper as if I had gotten my dress blues. Those experiences are what unite us as veterans, regardless of what service you happen to be in. And I say this to make a distinction that we all should appreciate. Mr. Hall, Mr. C.C. Hall, a man of color, not yet 20 years old, being told to report to an island off the coast of South Carolina, deep within the segregated South, in 1942, 70 years ago. I'd like to humbly associate myself with the questions that had to be on his mind. What were you thinking? What were you doing there? And what's wrong with this picture? Such thoughts preceded my own by 25 years. The military that we have inherited is a far different and better place because of your service, Mr. Hall. We are a far better and safer nation. For your gift of faith in your country, I ask all veterans here today to stand, if you can. You call that attention, remember? Attention! Salute. C. Hall. From a grateful community and a grateful nation. Thank you.
We have a special little musical tribute for Mr. Hall and his family and guests and our Marine friends from Warner Robins.
Halls of Montezuma.
I would invite all of us to please stand for a moment of silence, remain standing for the playing of taps, and then for the retiring of the colors. Let us bow for a moment of silence. God bless the United States of America. Have a great day today.
Thank you.